Mr. Top Flight Films. How's everybody doing today? You see the title, man. Are FBA's complicit with Trump's policies? I was listening to Tariq Nasheed Twitter space, as I do daily. And a dude named Gabriel, a Democrat guy, he came on the stage and he asked, well, he made a claim that FBA people are complicit in what's going on in DC and what's going on with the Smithsonian. And Angelos, what it do, homie? So that's what we're gonna chop it up about that. Y'all hit the like button when you come in here, hit the subscribe button if you like the content. Now, you know, I gotta keep it real, man. I gotta keep it all the way real. Last year when we were going through the election, you know, the whole campaign was about no tangibles, no vote, right? And what we were saying and what I'm still saying is that we're not rocking with Democrats. We're not voting for the Democrats or the Republicans. But the Republicans have a agenda that indirectly will benefit us in some ways, right? That's what we were saying. That was the push. That's what everybody was talking about. And I believed that, and I still believe that. We all knew that when Trump got back into office, there was going to be a lot of racism coming from behind the curtain, right? We already knew that. We knew that Trump was going to be very unpredictable. And we knew that things could affect us in certain ways. You dig? I'm gonna get to the comments in a minute. So as I'm listening to this space, man, the dude, Gabriel, he's a Democratic shield type of cat. He got up on the stage and he said that FBAs are complicit. He said, mainly he was talking to Tariq Nasheed. He said, Tariq Nasheed, you're complicit in what Trump is doing. You're complicit in the removal of black artifacts from the Smithsonian. You're complicit in the National Guard being in DC harassing black kids. And the reality is we are complicit. That's the reality. The reality is we are complicit. We didn't vote for Kamala. Thank goodness. We didn't vote for Kamala. Look, we're gonna keep it real over here. Over here, we're gonna keep it real. We indirectly endorse Trump. Okay, that's just the facts of the matter. We indirectly endorse Trump because we kind of talk Trump up a little bit, or we made it seem as though, which is the truth, we let it be known that, hey, when Trump comes through, he's about to clean up the immigration situation. So that was a plus, and it's still a plus for us. So Gabriel was 100% correct when he says we are complicit. Now the thing is, a lot of people need to own their shit. They need to keep the same energy that they had last month before the National Guards went into DC, before Trump made an announcement about the Smithsonian. A lot of people need to keep the same energy. I'm keeping my same energy. I'm not mad at the National Guard doing what they're doing. I'm not mad at the feds doing what they're doing. And I've made several videos about this. Hold up, I got somebody asking a question. He's spamming in here. So I believe Trump is doing more indirect benefits for black Americans. If you talk to the elders in DC, the ones that got sense, they're happy that at what's going on. You understand? I'm talking about the ones that got sense. I'm not talking about 25 through 40, 25 through 45, the people that at that age that really wanna, that still wanna fuck off and do ratchet shit. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about the grown folks with sense. They are not mad at what is going on in DC. Um, Again, I made several videos on this explaining. So when the Democrat dude calls up there, everybody needs to keep the same energy, man. I don't understand why it's a different type of energy today. We knew that there was gonna be some kickback, some backlash. You know what I'm saying? We knew how unpredictable Trump was gonna be. Now, if Kamala would have gotten the office, we would have really been in trouble. You understand? We'd have definitely really been in trouble. For a variety of reasons that I don't want to get too deep into today. But I like what Tariq said, man, and it's the truth. He said that everybody's getting a piece of the action right now. See, if Kamala would have gotten in office, mainly foundational black Americans would be suffering. Everybody else would be happy, just like we saw with Joe Biden in the past 4 years. Everybody was cool. There was no protests. There was no marches. There was no pushback on nothing. Like, nobody said a word. As soon as Trump left office in 2020, it seemed like everybody shut up. There was all kind of marches when Trump got into office. There was women marches. It was all kind of marches going on. And I attended some of those marches. But when Joe Biden got back in office, man, everybody went right to sleep, man. It was just everybody pulled up a pillow and hit the snooze button. You dig? So, yeah, man, we are complicit, and we got to be honest about that. And I'm happily complicit. Alexander Bryant says Trump got the country back on track. Let me say this, man. Aside from this Smithsonian thing, I don't like that racist shit that he doing with the Smithsonian. Aside from that, I'm not mad at what Trump doing. They said Trump is going out tonight. Did y'all hear it? Donald Trump is going on patrol tonight. He's going out. He's hitting the streets. And I gotta respect that. That man is going, and it may be a show, it may be performance. I don't care. He in the streets tonight, going out on patrol with the National Guard and the feds. Now, we sat for 4 years. We didn't even see Kamala Harris. What did Joe Biden do? What did Joe Biden do for these cities where there was a lot of violence going on? He didn't do nothing. He didn't do nothing. All he did was flood it with more illegal immigrants. So aside from the Smithsonian thing, maybe a couple other things, I don't have a problem with Donald Trump. You dig? I'm not surprised at his racism. We already know how it goes. We already understand that is what it is. But you got to give credit where credit is due, man. You know what I'm saying? And I'm extremely happy that Kamala. Oh, shout out for the super chat too, homie. I appreciate that, big dog. Alexander Bryant, shout out to you, Bryant. Shout out to you, homie. Yeah, I'm happy that Kamala's not in office, man. It would have been a shit show. It would have been a whole circus if she was in office. Donald Trump came through and stirred things up. You know what I'm saying? He's disrupting. And if you want change, shit gotta get uncomfortable. You know what I'm saying? It gotta get real uncomfortable. There is no comfort in growth. Mr. RM, what it do? So I thought it was interesting. I thought it was real interesting, man. What I heard earlier. And you know, at the end of the day, man, we're gonna see how everything turns out. We're gonna see what is what. Will this crackdown in DC amount to anything? You dig? Will there be any sort of change that comes from this? I would like to see change. I would like to see change in all these major cities. You know what I'm saying? Um, you can't run around. You can't run around the nation's capital, and a lot of people are in denial. You can't run around the nation's capital acting a goddamn fool. It's a street called U Street, DC, where a lot of clubs and bars are at, right? Every fucking weekend, it looks like Love and Hip Hop. People were so proud of that. Everybody was posting videos of 14th and U uh, all summer. It was a joke. It was a fucking joke. Everybody's posting videos of 14th and U, right? We saw all summer the Navy Yard being took over by the YNs, quote unquote. I'm talking about it was mobs of young boys and girls down at the Navy Yard acting a goddamn fool. And y'all really thought Donald Trump was gonna let that happen? That's why a lot of the elders, they not tripping. That's why I'm not tripping, because I have sense. I have sense. The reality is they not gonna let the YNs just take over the streets. Be down at the Navy Yard, beating people up, fighting with theyself, and then next thing you know, somebody gonna get unalive. You know what I'm saying? And this is gonna be an issue. The parents of these kids, they did not and cannot control their kids. The police, the mayor didn't get it right. So Donald Trump came through that joint. You dig? It's real simple, man. That's why I believe we cannot ignore. We cannot ignore. And I know there's no such thing as black crime. Everybody has crime. But we cannot ignore our young brothers and sisters. We can't just close our eyes and say, well, shit, I ain't got nothing to do with that. Because at the end of the day, it's gonna fall back on us, on the average working black man. We get looked at as criminals. We all get put in a box. They don't separate the shit with us. They'll separate it with every other group, right? I'm gonna get to all the comments. Y'all hit the like button in the meantime. They'll separate crime with every other group. But with us, they're not gonna separate it. And it's proof of that right now. Because in DC, they're running down on a lot of on everybody. The working woman, white folks. Yeah, they running down on white folks out there. The Latinos, they're walking through different neighborhoods. People who had nothing to do with the crime, they are feeling some backlash from it. That's what I'm saying. When there's let me say this, when there's a drug epidemic in West Virginia, when there's a drug epidemic in West Virginia and everybody's ODing 5-6 times a day, that is not a reflection on the white community. That's just the way society works. But when it's 300 murders in 6 months, I'm just making up numbers. When it's 300 murders in 6 months in DC, That they like, oh, black people, black people, black people. I don't quite know the solution, but the conversation has to be had. The conversation has to be had, and it needs to be a loud conversation. Because what we tend to do is say, you know what, man, that has nothing to do with me. I'm not a criminal. Why should that pertain to me? The reality is, in these cities, if these YNs don't get it together, they gonna start shipping them off to goddamn El Salvador. If these YNs, right, listen to me close, man. If they don't stop running down with the switches, Donald Trump is going to send their little frail ass to El Salvador. And then guess who is going to have to do the fighting for him? Guess who's going to have to come out and protest and really stomp down for him? Us. Okay. I'm just saying, when they start shipping Lil Youngin and them off to Alligator Island, Alligator Alcatraz, and we say, no, that's not just, that's not fair. We're gonna have to come out protest for these little motherfuckers because they parents is at the club twerking. Because they parents is too busy trying to be cool out here. We the black folks with sense are gonna have to come out here and start goddamn fighting for their rights. You dig? Let's get to these comments, man. All super chats are welcome, man. YouTube doesn't pay a damn thing. Let's get to these comments real quick. Viral Industries, what it do, homie? Black Americans, good citizens, done nothing wrong once again. I don't know what conversation you're listening to, my man. I'm gonna say it again. What you see and what some people in your community promote is that you have black fatigue, right? That's what y'all promote. This is what you say. What I'm telling you is, and I think y'all already know this, every culture has crime. Every culture has a section of its community that is crime ridden. What you all do, some of you all do, is you make it a black thing, like it's all black people. You don't compartmentalize it. We're the only ones who get to bear the burden of the small section of the community that commits crime. So your little comment, we done nothing wrong once again. I just held my people accountable. So I don't know what stream you listening to. Sonic Boom TV says set up as a cash app. Yeah, I gotta do that, dog. I gotta do that. I don't really be tripping on this YouTube money, but it would be nice. You know what I'm saying? It'd be nice. And this fucking, they don't pay shit on YouTube. Somebody said El Salvador is now one of the safest countries in the world. Gene, shout out to you, homie. Yeah, so, the reality is Donald Trump is going to start sending niggas to El Salvador. And then we're going to have to come out here and try to clean this shit up. So, the point is, parents, if you're listening, y'all need to get on y'all job, man. I know it's not easy raising teenagers. Because the reality is, man, look, it's mostly youngins out here committing these crimes. The old heads don't even want to commit no damn crimes no more. They already understand that it's a new day. It's the youngins 12, 19, 21. Their brain hasn't fully developed yet, so they don't understand the ramifications. They don't understand what's really going on out here. They don't understand it's a camera on every goddamn block. They don't understand that it's certain technologies out there. You know what I'm saying? It's drones out there. I was shooting a video the other day. Let me tell y'all some real shit. I was shooting a video the other day in Hagerstown. And as I'm shooting the video, the police drone comes over top of my head. Now peep this. Peep this shit. The drone comes over top of my head. And I leave the scene. So I'm out there with a bunch of hot ass drug dealers. They the ones shooting the video. They got a Corvette out there, they got some other shit, and they just hot. I could just tell they hot. I don't know these guys. They called me, I show up, I set up, and I shoot. So I'm out there with a whole bunch of felons and drug dealers, active drug dealers. And the drone comes over top of my head while we're shooting the video. I leave. The shoot is over. I leave. I'm driving down the highway on my way to the next shoot in D.C. And I get pulled over. I was getting followed the whole time. They pulled me over. It was like a state trooper. That was the funny part. And he pulled me over for no damn reason. Only reason he pulled me over was because whatever they saw in that drone, they said, you're gonna pull him. And then I saw that the dudes got pulled over too. They got pulled over in another location. You understand? So the technology that they have out here, you cannot really get away with crime like that anymore. A lot of the youngins don't understand this shit. And it's a new day out here. It's not like it used to be. Back then, you could commit a crime. They would have mirrors and shit. Like, you go into the store. Look, you go into the store, right? They would have that circle mirror. That's all they would have. Most joints would just have that circle mirror. No cameras. But now it's a camera on every street. It's a camera damn near on every house. Oh, shout out to you, homie. Skrilla said $5, sent $5. He said, most I know, these kids get it pushed on. Hold up. Most I know, these kids get it pushed on them by not only the parents, but society too. The entertainment industry makes it look fun. We give them power too. I appreciate the super chat, homie. Let me address that real quick. You're 100% correct. I know parents, right? Sorry, y'all, somebody called my phone. I know parents, right, that assist their kids in their criminal activity. You dig? I'm talking about 35-year-old women out at the club with their kids that knows their kids sell drugs. Their kids will sell drugs right in front of them. And that's the most disgusting thing that shit is disgusting. And I made a video the other day. I did a broadcast, and I was talking about the difference between people today and then people of old, of earlier generations. I want you to imagine back in the 70s and 80s, somebody's mother, you very rarely would you see this. You know what I'm saying? It existed, but it wasn't as prevalent. Somebody's mother or grandmother hanging around while they sell drugs or assisting and getting money from them. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's no shame. I saw a video with Wallow. He was talking about one of the problems in the community is we're afraid to call things for what they are. Let me tell y'all something. A lot of the older cats, a lot of the older people are scared. They're scared to talk truth to these young people. They're scared to call out the criminal element. They're scared. The inner child in them, they don't want to seem uncool. You dig? A lot of these old niggas, they still trying to be a YN. So they won't call out the stuff that's going on out here. Andy S says some parents are scared of their own kids. Money Muscle Entertainment said in the 80s, dudes sold their friends' mother's crack. Yeah, that was a thing. That was a thing. But the thing is, let me tell y'all, the mother would still take care of the kid. The mother would still tell Junior to go to school. The mother would still be a mother, have a motherly instinct. She wasn't really going to condone uh, her kids' criminal activity. You understand? So yeah, you're right. A lot of people were smoking crack back in the 80s, but a lot of people still function. You dig? Wisdom said, if we think other women's like our sisters and mothers, there won't be rape or discrimination against women. But why people with sister and mother rape and cheat other women is pure evil. I don't know what that means, sweetheart. Professor Educator said the CIA funded that. Yeah, look. Listen, y'all. I never, ever take away the responsibility from what the U.S. government did in the black community. We already know why things are the way they are. We know that there's a push to promote black destruction. We already know this. I will feel like I'm beating a dead horse if I sit around and say the same things that we already know. I like to have progressive conversations. I can sit here and tell y'all all day. And if you go back to some of my old videos, you see I talk about it a lot. Why things are the way they are. We already know that. But with that being said, what's next? Since we know that there's a propaganda campaign, right, against our youth, what do? You know what I'm saying? We just sit back and say, oh shit, well, there's a propaganda campaign against us, man. It is what it is. Now we gotta have a conversation. What's next? Money Muscle and Entertainment said, I work in the AG office in DC and I deal with families whose juvenile kids catches cases. Those parents doing a great job with the juveniles in DC to help deter them from crime. Well, that's good. That's your experience. But apparently, obviously, it's a lot of parents not doing their job because they had to send the fucking National Guard out there, homie. Okay. So I mean, I'm sure. Look, I'm not. Anytime I talk, I'm not talking about everybody. If I'm talking about racism, I'm not talking about everybody. I talk about parents not doing their job. I'm not talking about everybody, obviously. I want y'all to go look up news clippings on the internet from the youth in the Navy Yard in D.C. I want y'all to go watch how they was running wild down there all damn summer. I'm talking about their parents. I'm talking about their goddamn parents. You dig? It's Oscar the Grouch says, why black people always complaining? Y'all have a ton of multi-millionaires. Y'all tripping. It's y'all own fault because your state of mind. First of all, who's complaining, right? That's the first thing. You don't see anybody over here complaining. We're simply having a conversation. We're addressing issues. Now, to the second point that you tried to make, y'all have a ton of black multi-millionaires. What the hell does that mean? What the hell does that mean? It's a couple of multi-millionaires out here. One of them is in a federal penitentiary. One of our black billionaires is in a federal penitentiary because he bought prostitutes. You understand? Come on. It doesn't matter how much money you have. Ask Sean P. Diddy Combs. He's a perfect example of systematic racism. You understand? Money Muscle said those kids who did that crime to Doge guy are not DC kids. They from Maryland. I wouldn't doubt it, and I agree. I'm sure there's a lot of Maryland kids out there running with some DC kids as well. They not really going out there by themselves. They are mixing in with the DC kids. You know what I'm saying? Oscar the Grouch says that means y'all can be helping each other. What you mean? Jay-Z's a billionaire. That's enough money to help every black kid in the world. Listen, Jay-Z is not responsible to help every black kid in the world. That money, that's his money. He worked hard for his money. You know who's responsible? The government is responsible to provide resources to all kids, all families, all American citizens. That's the government's job. That's not Jay-Z's job. You understand? See, you have no problem with Jay-Z giving his money away, right? But when we mention things like reparative justice, you have a problem with that. You dig? Charmaine Love said, I just turned in because you are beautiful. You are the epitome of what the Most High God created. And listening to you, you are speaking truth. Sweetheart, I appreciate you. Thank you. Viral Industry says, why do the government hate black Americans, bro? Oh, that's a great question. Well, you know, it's more than the government. That's a great question. Why do racists, let's just say, why do racists hate black Americans? I think it's an inherent thing. Like, I think it's something that they see in us that they're fearful of. I think that they're so used to us being second-class citizens that they don't want to see the rise of the foundational black American. They don't want racists. I'm speaking on racists. I'm not saying all white folks or all immigrants. They don't want to see us rise to power. You understand? Now think about this. If there were a people enslaved for hundreds of years, right? Would you want them to surpass or be equal to you? No, you would want to hold on to your power, right? And I'm not 100% mad at that. That's like human nature. I'm not rocking with that, but I understand. If you were the manager at your job, right? Let's say you're the manager at your job, and some other guy comes along, and you're so used to telling him what to do. And now they talking about bringing him up and making him equal as you. You're going to be like, nah, man, like, I want to hold my position. So that's kind of what I feel. That's just my opinion. Crystal said, what do you think the government owes for your children? The government owes freedom, liberty, and justice for all. Okay, that's what they owe. Now, as far as my kids are fine. They're very well taken care of. You understand? I'm just saying, for those who are in need of a hand up, there should be resources provided. Just like when the illegals come over. They're provided with a lot of resources. Yeah? They're provided with a lot of assistance to help them come over here, get on their feet, and enjoy living in America and potentially reach the American dream. Skrilla, my man, shout out for the super chat, homie. Skrilla said, Americans hate crime. Don't matter who it is. Are some people genuinely racist? Absolutely. But the majority just want safety. All colors commit crimes. Absolutely, brother. Absolutely. All colors. And I'm glad you said that because, you know, there's this new thing called black fatigue out here. And it's propaganda. You understand? It's a form of targeting. It's a form of targeting. And I'm concerned about it because I believe, this is just my opinion, I believe when this black fatigue thing gets out of control, it's gonna be an issue. You understand? We keep acting like this, people are so tired of black folks. Do y'all know that the term black fatigue, it was a book written by a black woman? Do y'all know that? Do y'all know a black woman wrote a book called Black Fatigue? She wrote this book called Black Fatigue talking about how exhausting it is to deal with racism in America. Now, when I first heard the term, I wasn't familiar with this book. But I'm like, yeah, black fatigue. Shit, I'm tired. Okay. I'm tired of talking about certain topics. I'm tired of seeing certain things. I'm tired of certain things happening. Yeah, I got black fatigue. I can dig that. But then come to find out it was hijacked by racists. It was hijacked by racists, just like every other word, like woke, like Black Lives Matter. All these terms were hijacked. Dorsey said, you talking about Diddy, but didn't he tell us to vote for Trump in 2016? So what? I mean, who cares? What does that mean? What does that mean? Listen, you know who prosecuted Diddy? A bunch of Democrats. Diddy was prosecuted in a goddamn blue city. He's still in fucking jail, dog. Under Democrats. They didn't let him out. You dig? Democrats prosecuted Diddy. They went after Diddy, not Trump. If in fact, if Diddy wouldn't have said those things about Trump, Diddy would be home right now. Trump would have pardoned that man. ARJR said Diddy actually said vote for Biden. Yeah, I could have swore Diddy was on his Democratic thing. You know what I'm saying? He actually spoke against Trump. Diddy has always been used for the political stage when it comes to the urban media. He had the vote or die campaign. You dig? Yeah. Yeah, but I just wanted to drop that off, man. You know, when I was in that space, or when I was listening to that space, I felt like I wanted to come chime in on it because we got to keep it real around here, man. We got to keep the same energy. We are complicit in anything that Donald Trump does. We did not vote for Trump, but we indirectly endorsed Trump. Yes, we did. Yes, we did. We indirectly endorsed him. We kind of did it on the slide. You know what I'm saying? Uh, Dorsey said Diddy left the black youth empty-handed. What black youth did he leave empty-handed? Skrilla said, shit, Brody, I voted for him. Yeah, that's what's up. I'm saying, what I'm saying is, a lot of the people who were against the Democrats, who were on the no tangible, no vote kick, we sat out. We sat out this election. But I'm not mad if you vote for that, man. I'm not mad at all. Priscilla, what's up, man? She says, why does politics ever matter if people truly are not woke? What does it matter if people don't acknowledge that we are living in a spiritual realm? Priscilla, let me tell you this, sweetheart. We are in a spiritual realm. For me, spirituality is reality. You understand? That's my spirituality. I try to stay in a constant state of reality. Because sometimes we can get so spiritual that we do not keep our eye on what's going on in reality. Winston said, do you wave the American flag? No, not really. I'm not mad at the flag. I used to be mad at the flag. I used to say, fuck that flag. But I'm not mad at the flag. We have a Black American flag. We also have a foundational Black American flag. But yeah, I'll wave the American flag. It's my flag. I'm an American. You dig? I'm not mad at that flag. Yeah, no, man, I ain't gonna call you racist, Skrilla, man. Look. The first term that Trump ran for, um, I was too busy looking at. I live in Mountain, Maryland, so I live around a lot of white folks. I was looking at the Trump trains. Y'all know what the Trump train is? Them big ass trucks that come through with the Trump flag waving, all the rednecks. I was too busy looking at um, a lot of his supporters. You understand? I wasn't policy based. I wasn't looking at the policies like that. I was too busy online looking at a lot of the racist supporters, because let's keep it real, man. A lot of his supporters are racist. And when they heard Make America Great Again, they thought it was time to kill some niggas. Okay? Let's just be real about that. So the first term, I wasn't rocking with Trump. You understand? But this time around, we supposed to grow in our thinking. We're supposed to grow as time goes on. We should be growing, constantly elevating. This time around, man, I started looking at policy. You know what I'm saying? We gave Joe Biden a chance. Man, that 4 years under Joe Biden, man, the money was so slow. The money was terrible. It was depressing under Joe Biden. Sonic Boom TV said the problem with the two-party system is that if you disagree with the agenda of one party, people automatically make you an advocate for the other. Absolutely. Crystal said, my last son will be deployed at any moment. His wife is already there. Dorsey said, what community service did he provide? So I ain't going to raise hell for a man who did nothing for his community. You talking about Diddy. Listen, Diddy, he doesn't owe anybody anything. I'm sure Diddy has done a lot for people. Diddy got school. He got a school. He got a charter school. You know what I'm saying? Why don't you Google it, bro? I guarantee you Diddy's done a lot for motherfuckers. And if he didn't, so what? That's not his job. You know what I'm saying? But I understand what you're saying. I understand what you're saying. Diddy's an entertainer, dog. He's not a activist. He's not a government official. You know what I'm saying? He's not. One thing Diddy did is he fought his way up the ladder and became successful. And I can respect that. You know what I'm saying? Too bad he kind of put himself in the jackpot. You know what I'm saying? Wancha Ray says Diddy just like to get freaky in his personal life. Yeah, and he's in a federal holding cell because he wanted to have freaky sex. If that doesn't scream racism, if anybody that knows of this case can look at this case and say racism, systematic racism doesn't exist, then you're in denial, because there's no way that man should be locked up right now. Dorsey said Tupac and Biggie may say differently. What about, I don't understand, what about Biggie and Tupac? Let me talk about the Biggie and Tupac thing real quick, on a lighter note. Let's talk about Pac real quick. Everybody says that, well, a lot of people say Diddy has something to do with Pac. I'm a major Tupac fan. That's my GOAT. That's the number one in my list. I want y'all to go back to 1996, 95, 96, and I want y'all to ask yourself a question. If it's a group of guys over in LA threatening you, making songs about you, putting hands on your staff, they even urinated on one of his staff members, wouldn't you want to get them out the way? And I'm not saying Diddy had Pac killed, because we know that's not the case. We know Orlando Anderson had killed Pac. I'm not mad at Diddy for wanting to do something to Pac. That's what he was supposed to do. This is coming from a Tupac fan. You dig? Sirloin says, now you are in Alice Trump's Wonderland and there's no way out. I love it here. I'm not, bro. This shit is cool. This shit is exciting. This shit is good. This been great. Fuck it. It's been great since Trump. Trump has been here. It's been great, dog. You dig? The money's flowing. I've been booked ever since January the 1st, 2025. I'm just keeping it real, man. I'm not mad at what's going on right now. You dig? The Democrats are crying and whining. I love it. I love it here. I love it here. They protesting. They out on the street. You dig? Dorsey said, I'm from California, so we stand up for Tupac. I do remember when New Yorkers whipped up on Ice Cube. Yeah, that was King's son. King's son was no, King's son was with Cube. Was King's son with Cube? King's son was with Cube. No, King's son was with Cube, a New Yorker. King's son is a New Yorker. He was with Cube when they got into that altercation with the NWA's crew. Oh yeah, he said it was other New Yorkers. He said he was fighting other New Yorkers. Skrilla said, after all them disses, I feel a certain way too, man. Pac was aggressive. Hey, think about that. Like they said Diddy kind of threw it out there. He was like, hey man, I got $1 million for Pac. You know what I'm saying? That's what Keefe D said. All right, y'all. Somebody keeps calling my damn phone. They keep calling my damn phone, leaving voice messages. I apologize. But yeah, Pac, man, you know, they was on that gangster shit back in the day. Diddy, all the rappers was on some gangster shit back in the day. You know what I'm saying? So what were they supposed to do? You know what I mean? This is what we bought the records for. We bought the records because we thought they was living like that. Come to find out, Diddy was really living like that. Dorsey said, look, brother, we need to organize and re-educate our people about black on black violence, family. All right, tell me about black on black violence, dog. Because I agree, I just don't like the term black on black violence. You know what I'm saying? I just spoke on that. I don't like the term black on black violence. Let's just say, how about we start saying violence in our community? How about we just start saying that? Because black on black violence is propaganda. There is no white on white violence. There is no Asian on Asian violence. There is no Mexican on Mexican violence. Even with the cartel, listen, even with the Mexican cartels, they will hang you from a damn bridge so the whole town can see you. They will pull up, look, the Mexicans, they will pull up and go to war with the police and take back their prisoner. Listen, nobody says Mexican on Mexican violence. You dig? But we're the only people that feel like we gotta have this thing called black on black violence. Is shit out of control in a lot of areas? Absolutely. But I'd rather say violence in our community. Because at the end of the day, it's about being accountable. Let everybody else be accountable for their communities. If they don't want to, that's fine. Skrilla said, if a MF need money, he gonna get it, especially if he's starving. Yeah, you know, we know there's underlying issues. We know we know what's going on out here, man. We know what's going on out here. Listen. I empathize with those that are living in poverty. You know what I'm saying? I empathize. It starts in the mind, though. Everything starts in the mind. If you've given up hope and you just decide I'm gonna live in these projects for the rest of my life, I'm gonna just sell this crack for the rest of my life, then that's gonna be your fate. You know what I'm saying? Moose Jones says, white and black Americans need to stand together. These Mexicans don't want us having shit. Well, the problem is, man, look, I agree to an extent. I don't exclude anybody based on their race or on their ethnicity. The problem is, man, I don't know if you're aware of what's going on with your white brethren. I don't know if you're a white dude or not, man, but it's a lot of racism being spewed on this internet, man. I don't know if y'all really watch. They talking about they got black fatigue. You know what I'm saying? It's just a lot going on, man. It's a lot going on. A lot of propaganda being put out there. But I agree, we need to, in a perfect world, we can come together and kumbaya and live happily ever after. Truth Hurts says racism is a powerful word. Yeah, it's a powerful system. Racism is an extremely powerful system. It's so powerful, it'll tell you to stop talking about it. It'll tell you stop talking about it. You dig? Hey. But listen, man, y'all go follow the Instagram, topflight_TV. I will be back probably tomorrow, maybe. I got a lot of work to do. A lot of videos to edit. Dorsey said, I am poor, but I never thought about breaking the 10 Commandments. So if you're breaking the laws of God, selling drugs, pimping, I can understand. But murder, nah, I can't understand. Yeah, man. It gets real in the field, man. I mean, I understand everybody got certain circumstances. You know what I'm saying? I'm not trying to condemn anybody. It's really out of love and compassion, and I want to see people do better. You know what I'm saying? But shout out to y'all, man. Hold up, Brianne said, as the mother raising a biracial young woman, I am trying to teach her the right way. Yeah, you got to teach the kids, man. Look, parenting is not easy. Listen, at the end of the day, we are pretty much powerless of how our kids are going to turn out. All we can do is our best, give them love, build a foundation for them, and then what they do with that is going to be on them. Typically, when you raise your kids in love, if they happen to stray, they'll come back to that love. They'll come back to those lessons and those principles that you taught them. You know what I'm saying? So it is what it is, man. Listen, I'm gone. Appreciate y'all. I'm out. Truth Hurts. Where my man go? Skrilla, shout out for the super chat, homie. Dorsey, y'all be good, man. Be easy. Hit the subscribe button.